For better, and just a little bit worse, Samsung is entering a whole new chapter with the Galaxy S21. The S21 lineup has a brand new design compared to its predecessors, featuring a new contour-cut camera module, which makes it really clear that Samsung is trying to make a clean break from previous Galaxy phones. The S21 and S21 Plus sport completely flat Gorilla Glass 7 screens in front, with no curviness or rounded edges. While in back, you get a polycarbonate, which is a fancy word for plastic, rear panel. Now, Samsung's use of plastic might seem kind of silly on what's supposed to be a high-end phone, but between its new matte texture, increased durability, and the lightness that plastic has over glass, I actually think Samsung did a really good job of making plastic feel like a premium material. As for the Ultra, Samsung used the same Gorilla Glass 7 for its back too, adding a tiny bit extra protection and a little bit of extra cachet for its high spec model. In a somewhat surprising move, both the S21 and S21 Plus have 2400 by 1080 Full HD Plus displays, which actually have less pixels than the QHD panels on last year's Galaxy S20. However, in return, Samsung added new 120Hz variable refresh rate tech, which offers such a smooth, silky viewing experience, it's actually kind of easy to forget the loss in resolution. Meanwhile, the S21 Ultra takes things even further by stepping up to a full 3200 by 1440 QHD Plus resolution, with a variable refresh rate that goes from 120Hz all the way down to 10Hz. It's more of everything that's already great about the S21's display, and quite simply, the S21 Ultra has the nicest screen in the industry. When it comes to cameras, Samsung is actually kind of borrowing a page out of Google's playbook. That's because while the S21 and S21 Plus have basically the same 12 megapixel main, 12 megapixel ultra-wide, and 64 megapixel 3x telephoto cameras you got on last year's S20, Samsung has used the past year to refine its camera algorithms and image processing. So not only has white balance improved, Samsung's night mode has gotten a big boost too. And that means the biggest surprise is that the S21 can actually hang with something like the Google Pixel 5 in terms of pure image quality, while also offering a 3x telephoto zoom the Pixel 5 just can't match. And by taking advantage of its new Snapdragon 888 chip, the S21 can even do things like film 8K videos or snap up to 10 frames a second while using Samsung's neat single take mode. Samsung even added an all-new portrait mode to replace last year's kind of lackluster live focus feature. So even without changing out its sensors, the S21 is a markedly better phone for taking photos. That said, the S21 Ultra still dunks on its less expensive siblings, with even bigger sensors, a dedicated laser autofocus system, which actually works surprisingly well, and an extra telephoto lens with a 10x optical zoom. Now, you can talk amongst yourselves about whether you think phones really need 10x optical zooms, but for me, I absolutely love it. Even when you're taking shots from huge distances away, photos still look really sharp. Meanwhile, Samsung's AI-assisted zoom lock helps you keep your subject in frame, even if you're hand-holding the phone. Honestly, it's the closest thing you can get to a big telephoto lens attached to a DSLR, but on a phone. In the US, the entire S20 line comes with Qualcomm's latest Snapdragon 888 chip, which is definitely faster than before, but it still can't quite top the numbers we saw from an A14 chip in an iPhone 12. Then again, nothing I threw at the Galaxy S21 actually causes to lag or stutter, even momentarily. The slightly more concerning part is that while I was expecting big battery life numbers from the S21, what I've seen is merely just a bit above average, clocking in at just over 12.5 hours on a single charge. Unfortunately, I didn't get my hands on an S21 Plus, but with its larger 4800 mAh battery, I would expect significantly better battery life numbers. On the flip side, the S21 Ultra boasted incredible runtimes, coming in at 16 hours and 45 minutes on our battery test, which I think is partly due to the more energy efficient VRR display. And as you'd expect, the entire S21 lineup comes with full 5G connectivity, along with a bunch of other high-end features including Bluetooth 5.2, Wi-Fi 6E, IP68 water resistance, and both wireless and reverse wireless charging. Samsung even added a new in-display fingerprint sensor that's 1.7 times larger and way faster than before. However, there are two big things the S21 doesn't have. First is that after Apple removed the power brick from the iPhone 12 box last year, Samsung is now following suit. That means the only thing you get inside an S21 box is a USB-C cable and a SIM ejector tool. No power brick. But the bigger news is that for 2021, Samsung has finally given up on micro SD expandability on the S21. This might be a tough pill to swallow for people who like adding storage to their phone after they buy it, but sadly, this is kind of inevitable. It's just where the industry was heading. The one small upside is that for people who do want more storage, Samsung has reduced the price of upgrading, which means you can go from 128 gigs to 256 gigs for just $50. For longtime Galaxy fans, Samsung ditching microSD and removing the power brick is definitely going to sting. However, when you look at the bigger Android phone market, the S21 doesn't really have that much competition. Right now, it's just kind of hard to recommend any other phone over the S21, with Apple's iPhone 12 being Samsung's only real rival. And in the end, that means the S21 is the default high-end Android phone.